Hey everyone, welcome back to Only Shannon Knows, where I talk about a lot of things: weight loss, addiction. I am a widow, a single mom, and my husband passed away March of 20, we don't know the date he died, but his body was found March 2024, and he passed due to chronic alcoholism. And so I am a domestic abuse survivor as well, and then also had multiple restraining orders against him. I have a lot going on in my channel, but I do have playlists available for everybody to look at depending on the content. It was heavy on my heart to really talk about how the kids have been affected throughout all of this. I'm very blessed that they were not able to see, other than Nate not being around, they never saw his actual addiction the way I saw it, meaning hotel rooms filled with feces and alcohol. They never saw this ever. All they knew was Daddy was gone. That was it. And so I'm hoping that this helps others who are struggling, because it is not worth it. It is not worth it. Nate never wanted his kids to be without their dad. And this is a hotel room. This is 4 days after a 4-day relapse. 4 days. That cover or pillow is covered in feces. The bed I showed you is covered in feces. 4 days. And after 4 days, after this, he ended up in the hospital. And then he got out and started drinking again. Sorry. Anyway. This is what I want to share with everybody. As you can see here, there are his benzos as well. Celebrate Recovery devotional. And I don't even know what to think sometimes, because, looks like he had lithium in his room as well. I haven't gone through this stuff. This is all of my court documents that I had, or evidence, I should say. So he also had lithium in his room. I'm going to show you the dad he was. We were doing a walk for life in Iowa for pregnancy resources. This.
I'm okay. You're okay? Yeah.
So she said, "Daddy, I'm going to run." He said, "Oh, you are? Okay." And he's trying to jog alongside of her. Let's see, when is this? This was September 10th, 2022. 23. I'm trying to think of all his relapses. He relapsed I found evidence of a relapse in February of 2023. I don't really know when the relapse was. And then his big relapse was July of 2023. And then this is he and Daniel used to always, it's hard to see, sorry, take naps together. It's our other son. And then this is him going. So this was after his third, third relapse. He was checking into the Abbey Long-Term Treatment Center. Not too happy about going, but he didn't have a choice. And then during this last relapse, this is what alcohol does to you. I don't know what he was arrested either for harassment or domestic abuse here, or not showing up to court. Don't know which one. This is what my leg looked like after he hit me with the car. The big bruise, it probably isn't showing up very well, but anyway, it's just shocking to me. This is, let's see, I took this January 11th. He posted this January 11th. No, I took a screenshot of it on January 11th. He posted this, I think it was around 3 a.m., if I remember correctly, on his Facebook as a Facebook story, but you can see, so this is actually a pretty good picture of it, but his skin is gray. His face is very puffy. He's never really had a double chin. And remember, when he drinks, he doesn't eat. So this is really when his body started really failing him. That day I tracked where he went. He went to get special massages, quote unquote, to a massage place where all the windows were covered about 2 or 3 times, I believe. Definitely at least 2. He would go to the bank and then he would go back there. He went to the mall. I'm assuming he bought that watch he has right there. And then he posted this along with some rap video. I can't remember what rapper it was. But this is not who I married at all. I have no idea what he was doing. It just doesn't, none of it makes sense. Wish I had a better picture of him. This one is during one of his relapses as well, when he went to the hospital. This was June of 2021. So this was, I think, 10 days after one of his relapses. The evidence just goes on and on. This is when I first found out he had relapsed again. Found that bottle cap in his pants. And then, Asian Jasmine Spa. Then he was looking at Craigslist. Wonder what he was looking for. 59th Street Massage, Craigslist. And then this is right under, it's really hard to see. So this was during his second relapse. See that little cap right there? So I knew something was really off that day. And this was my daughter's playpen that was under it. And it was still full. I ended up, and I poured it out and obviously confronted him. Gambling receipts. And then right before that, not right before, but a couple months before, this was him laying with Daniel. Daniel was really sick. He was throwing up and Nate was laying with him and consoling him. Daniel ended up falling asleep on the kitchen floor. So yes, we did call the doctor. We did. She just wanted to make sure that his diapers were wet every 4 hours. I can't remember the hours. But anyway, we were watching it, and the only place he would sleep was on the kitchen floor on a towel. that was Nate. And then
2 or 3. Amen. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. That's a 2 or 3. Amen.
sober dad. And it's just so sad. Here he's putting away the dishes with the kids helping. I will tell you, this photo is what was used to identify his body, because the police wanted a picture of his tattoo. That's the only photo I had of his tattoo. So of him with the 2 kids. His body was so badly decomposed, they could not identify him. They knew it was him because there was a photo ID next to the body. That's all they knew, where I guess it could potentially be him. And they asked me if I had a photo of his tattoo or what tattoo he had. And I told them, and then they asked for a photo. So I sent them that. They're cleaning. I was still pumping back then, so they're cleaning out the pumping.
Okay. Switch. Do this one. Get it in there. All the way.
So it's hard for me to believe that somebody, it's just so you see that and you see those videos and you hear all of that, and I just can't believe I know once you start drinking, you can't stop. I know that he had that problem. He couldn't stop. I 100% get that. Sober-minded, he made the decision to drive to the store, pull out his wallet, grab whatever the drink it was, pay for whatever drink it was, take the cap off or open the can and put it to his mouth and swallow. All those decisions. Was it worth it? Because now you don't have your kids at all, period. And you are gone off this earth. You will never see them until they reach heaven. So, was it worth it, Nate? Really? Was it really worth it to you? Kids want to know. They want to know why their daddy chose alcohol. I tell them it's a disease, and I explain to them that I have the same questions. And all I know is that once he starts, he can't stop. But you've had over 20 years of understanding how alcoholism is, and you led recovery groups. You're fully aware. Play the reel forward, as you always said. If I have a drink, what will happen? You fully knew what would happen. Especially considering after that relapse, that was the one where they were washing the dishes. So he had a relapse after that one. That was his second one since we were married. And I explained to him, after the first one, it was kind of like it was a hall pass. Second one, divorce, not getting back together, etc. So I have here his first relapse. It was on 6/14 of 2020. Hannah was born the end of February 29th. She was a leap year baby. So that was his first relapse. Second relapse, 5/19 of 2021. He had already been hospitalized 5 times. He couldn't keep anything down. He went into detox himself, checked himself in on 6/22. So it's not even a month. Oh, it was a little over a month later. And then he said he had to leave because his son was in the hospital. His son wasn't in the hospital. I had custody of the kids. There was a restraining order against him. He had no contact with the kids. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. What 5/28 of 2021, he broke into our house. Changed all the locks so the kids and I could not get back in. $2021. So the Fairfield Inn, they opened up his hotel room because his friend was concerned. And there was blood all over. I talked to the hotel manager at this time, and I asked if I could get the stuff out of the room, and she said, he's still alive. That's how much blood was in the room. It just is shocking to me that he did this and the kids suffer. For me, it's one thing. I'm the wife. I'm an adult. I can handle it. The kids don't understand that. Kids don't understand that 4 years of relapses. And Hannah's 5. Hannah's 5, Daniel's 6. And their dad's gone. He drank himself to death. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're going through, what you're dealing with. It shocks me. He knew what would happen if he drank. He knew. This was, I think, 7 days at a hotel. He always stayed at hotels. Look at the empty bottle. There's another one next to it. It's really hard to see. But it's just, even this bed, that's blood. It just is mind-boggling to me. And I will never understand it myself. This is my husband on our wedding day. Then that's him during his first relapse. Unresponsive. And none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. So I hope and pray that anybody else who's going through this, that they get help, because it's not too late. If you're breathing, it is not too late. Pray about it. Ask for help. Call your sponsor. Call someone. Do something. Don't let this end your life. Nate always said, when he was drinking, the one thing that was scarier than death was not having alcohol. And I'll read you something else. So one of his family members posted this online. Will you all please pray for my brother Nathan right now? He's drinking again. Nate's a severe alcoholic and inevitably winds up hospitalized near death when he drinks. After 6 years of sobriety, he relapsed last year and went on a 3-week bender and predictably wound up in the hospital. He does not have an off switch. Once he's started, he becomes a completely different person. I've experienced that person. He stops eating completely and just starts chugging vodka. He also has a benzo prescription for anxiety that is a dangerous combination with alcohol. Last year, he abandoned his wife, me, and kids and hid out in a motel room where he could be alone, or he went to the casino. He also has a gambling problem. He called me from the hospital last year, humbled and broke again, pledging never to drink again. He said to me, I don't have another relapse in me, meaning the next one would probably kill him. He likes to hide in the shadows when he relapses and be hard to reach. Alcoholic Nate doesn't want anybody telling him to stop. He doesn't want people to give him tough love and pressure him to give up his wet blanket friend, alcohol. But I'm not allies with alcoholic Nate. I'm allies with sober Nate. Sober Nate has told me that he knows there are only 3 outcomes when he drinks: jail, which he's been in multiple times, hospital, which he's been in multiple times, or the grave, which that's where he is right now. Sober Nate is allied with his sobriety also. But when alcoholic Nate takes over, it's like he's been hijacked by a different person. He doesn't even sound like my brother. When I can get him to answer the phone. Alcoholic Nate is going to hate the fact I'm broadcasting this, but I don't care. I don't care about Alcoholic Nate. I'm putting this out there to embarrass Alcoholic Nate. Sober Nate will thank me later. Maybe some of you who love him and care about him can remind him that you don't want to see him kill himself and leave this world prematurely. Leave behind a wife and 2 small kids. Or at the very least, it won't come as a surprise to you. Get the news that he's no longer with us. I feel completely hopeless being several states removed from him and knowing he won't even listen to me when his alcoholic brain takes over. I can only appeal to God and to spare him because he will only stop drinking normally when he's found himself in the hospital again. Please pray. I don't know what that lasts. I can only appeal to God to spare him because he will only stop drinking normally when he's found himself in the hospital again. He can't drink normally. I think that was worded wrong. But anyway, he can't drink normally. Couldn't drink normally. Like, this is, everybody saw the videos of Nate, right? So this is like between he and his brother. Nate, are you drinking today? This is from his brother. Just sweet tea. It's, okay, what tea is it? It's not sweet tea. It is not sweet tea. Twisted tea. These alcohol companies. Anyway, I'm not blaming the companies, but just sweet tea. I don't believe you. It's from his brother. You're a liar. Call me from the hospital if you make it that far. I love you too much to watch you kill yourself. Then Nate, what happened? Did your wife call you? Nate, I don't have a wife. We're divorced. It already went through? ? Did you watch Expelled yet? Stop changing the subject. When are you going to stop drinking? Should Dad and I start planning your funeral now or wait until you kill yourself? And then Nate, you have time to get ripped and take daily filtered selfies, but not focus on God. Don't judge me, bro. I'm fine. Worry about yourself. This is not how Nate talks, by the way. Then his brother, again, changing the subject rather than accept accountability and admit you're out of control again. This is the last time I'm going to speak to you. Love you too much to watch you kill yourself. Call me from the hospital if you survive. Otherwise, goodbye and nice knowing you. So he posted this with a Facebook post. He posted these text messages as well, just to show everybody how Nate is. And this is the photo I showed everybody earlier. This is the photo he sent his brother too. It's just so devastating that reading that was a couple of years ago before he passed, and yet he's gone. And they did have to plan his funeral. I could not handle it. So now I will read what his dad posted. This was after they found Nate's body. Many of my friends, so this is still on Facebook still. Many of my friends on Facebook already have heard the news, but for those who have not, it is with a heavy heart that I inform you that my oldest son, Nathan, has died. He was such a special person. He was my firstborn. We are obviously grieving and missing him in many ways, and it's difficult to put into words. However, Jesus had reached and saved Nathan years ago. At that time, Nathan was consumed with his addiction to alcohol and at times other substances. Nate had many happy and productive years of sobriety, serving his Lord and Savior, reaching out to others who were trapped in the same evil snare of addiction, which he did. He was sober about 6 years. That was the extent of his sobriety. Sadly, over the last few years, after a near-death experience of his mother, who was an anchor for him, and the isolation of the pandemic, Nathan experienced a series of relapses, which in all reality, sadly, over the last few years after a near-death experience, yes, his mom was a big part. Nate was really upset about his mom. And then with the pandemic, everything did shut down. But still, Nate knew better. Anyway, Nathan experienced a series of relapses. He did have moments of renewal and sobriety, which was, honestly, they were only 8 to 9 months long. But ultimately, the destructiveness of his illness and Nate's inability to successfully maintain sobriety caught up with him, and it cost him his marriage, relationship with his young children, friends, and ultimately, or so it appears, his life. I'm going to pause here. This is before we got the autopsy reports. We weren't 100% sure. We were pretty sure. But anyway, it was chronic alcoholism. That's how he passed. We know that his soul was eternally secure, and he is resting now in the presence of his Lord. He is now free from this demon. He is at peace and free from sin, guilt, and shame. I am very thankful for the prayers and loving support of so many. I personally do not know many of those who loved Nate these past years in spite of his struggles. I am particularly blessed by the love shown for him by his Celebrate Recovery family and the family he had at Edgewood. Please continue to pray for all of us, but particularly for Nathan's wife, Shannon, and for his young children, Daniel and Hannah, that they may be comforted and experience peace in the midst of this storm, praying that you all may experience God's love and blessings. So, just Just going to leave that there and just know, for those of you that are struggling, there is help. For those of you who are with somebody who is addicted and they are in active addiction, highly recommend you get out. If they're not seeking treatment, it is not going to change. Get out. Get out and get help yourself. If I would have stayed, well, at one point I did. He had just relapsed that day. And he hit me with a car. Because he wanted alcohol so bad. He hit me with the car. But imagine. Sorry, there we go. Imagine if I had stayed. This was during his second relapse. Look at this. He was in this hotel room by himself. Look at this bed. That's blood. This is what happens. Just get help. Get help. Get you, if you have kids, get your kids to safety. I know it's hard. I had to do it too. If you're curious how I got custody of my children, I have a series: divorce, custody, restraining order. I have a series. Little tidbit of information, depending on which state you're in. Find out how you can get out with your kids. For me, all I had to do was get Nate outside and he would have gotten public intox. I didn't know that at the time. Not till the police were leaving. But there are many ways. Know your laws. Talk to an attorney. There are many ways that you can get out safely with your kids, legally. Have a good night.